Much for being here tonight. This is ASCBC's Student Commissioner and ASCBC Officer Town Hall. We have a great set of candidates for you guys tonight. My name is Haley Tilt. I am the Regional Advisor for ASCBC and one of the co-chairs for the Elections Committee that runs this election. It is May 9th. We're going to be having our candidates answer some questions between 6 to 7 p.m. tonight. And we'd love to have you guys actually join us on the Microsoft Teams call that we're on. If you would like to ask your own questions, this QR code will let you join the meeting that we're currently in, where you can pose questions to the candidates towards the end of tonight's town hall. And this will be up on the screen throughout the evening. So if you don't scan it now, you can scan it later and join us. So again, if you're watching on YouTube, we love to have you here live in the meeting, and I'll be letting folks in throughout the meeting as well. So you're welcome to just jump in if you decide you want to ask a question towards the end of the meeting. So tonight I am going to kick us off. I'm going to introduce your moderators. I'm going to give an overview of the ASCBC election. And I will do a quick introduction to the candidates, and then our moderators will actually be asking the candidates questions. So our moderators tonight are Eleni Lila. She's a junior who attends Western High School. She's been serving on ASCBC's Elections Committee, and Tatiana Florimund, who is a sophomore, and she attends Green Street Academy. Tatiana is actually a co-chair with me, so both of them will be joining shortly. They're able to jump on at 6:10, so that's why I'm kicking us off. So for those of you who may not be familiar, or if you're watching this later, what's this election? This election, thanks to legislation passed at the state level last spring, Baltimore City students get to vote on who they want their student commissioner to be. So in a second, I'll talk more about who the student commissioner is. But now you guys get to vote. So Baltimore students have a voice directly in who represents them. 9th through 12th grade students get to vote for the student commissioner under state law. 6th through 8th grade students get to vote for ASCBC's middle school executive. Those are the only two roles that are limited by grade, because all 6th through 12th graders get to vote for every other role on ASCBC's executive board, including the president, the vice president, the treasurer, the secretary, and the chair of the diversity committee. And you're going to be hearing from candidates who are running for almost all of those roles tonight, except for the chair of the diversity committee, who's actually an empty seat. And if you would like to apply for a role on ASCBC, I'll talk more about how you can do that as well. So what is the student commissioner? If you're not familiar with the student commissioner, this is the student who serves on the Baltimore City Board of School Commissioners. The school board is responsible for overseeing all of the districts. So decision making that happens on a district level, the school board is the governance body who guides that work. They determine school policy, and policy meaning rules that all of our schools have to follow. They approve the budget, and they make a lot of other decisions that impact all of our schools. It's really important that we have a student who sits on the school board and shares almost the same amount of responsibility and power as the other adult commissioners. There's only two things that adult commissioners can vote on that the student commissioner cannot, and those are union negotiations, also called collective bargaining, and personnel decisions. But everything else, policy, budget, you name it, the student commissioner has the same authority as the adult commissioner. And so that's why it is super important that you as a student know who your candidates are and you pick a really good person for this role. What is ASCBC? So because tonight it's not just about learning about your student commissioner candidates, you also get to learn about your candidates for ASCBC officer positions. So ASCBC, the Associated Student Congress of Baltimore City, is Baltimore's citywide student government organization. It's elected by all 6th through 12th grade students, and it represents Baltimore's youth and district level decision making. ASCBC gets called on to consult on all kinds of district level policies. That includes snow days going to virtual, diversity policy, the policy that now structures SGA and student-led organizations. Hold on one second. Let me just mute someone who just joined us. And so ASCBC has really a lot of opportunity to represent student voice to decision makers at the district level, at the city level, at the state level. And so it is not only a body that represents students upward towards adult decision makers, it also organizes students across all of our schools. So it serves as the coalition, the body that builds connections between all of our student government associations across the district. Tonight you're going to be hearing from candidates for all of these roles: student commissioner, ASCBC president, middle school executive, ASCBC vice president, treasurer, and secretary. And in a moment, I'll let the moderators talk through how the flow of questions is going to work. We have a few moments before they join us, and so I want to just go back to the beginning and give this time. If you are watching on YouTube, please go ahead and join us at the live town hall link. That is linked right there, the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. That would be an opportunity for you to ask questions towards the end of our time tonight. So please feel free to join us. And I think we have all of our candidates who are going to be here this evening. So we'll get started in just a moment. All right, so if you're just joining or if you're just tuning in, we're going to get started in just a moment. We'd love to have folks join the Microsoft Teams call. If you'd like to, at the end of our town hall tonight, you'll have an opportunity to ask questions of the candidates. So you can only ask the questions if you're in the Teams call. If you're watching on YouTube, no problem. We're so great that you are tuning in, but you won't be able to actually ask questions of the candidates. So if you want to do that, go ahead and scan the QR code that's on the screen right now, and you can join the call with us, where we're all going to be, where all of the candidates will be speaking tonight. All right. So we'll go ahead and do an introduction of all of our candidates. If you wanted to join the call and you haven't done that yet, again, the QR code will still be here, so feel free to join us. But before we start with questions for the candidates, I'd love to hear just from each of the candidates, if you could come off mute, share your name, your school, your grade, and the position that you're running for. And then once our student moderator joins, we'll jump into the questions. We will go in the order tonight that is listed on that ballot alphabetically. So starting with student commissioner, ASCBC president, and then we'll go to vice president, middle school executive, treasurer, and secretary. I sent that order out to you guys in advance, so go ahead and reference that if you need to. Dylan will be joining us in a bit, unless he's here already. But we will pick up with Isaiah, and then the only other person who is not here tonight is Brooke and Leah. I haven't seen Leah join, but Leah, if you're here, you'll go ahead and unmute and introduce yourself when it gets to you. All right, so Isaiah, please take it away.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Isaiah. I'm running for the student commissioner position. I attend Baltimore Design School, and I am currently a 10th grader. Did I miss anything else in the introduction? Okay, cool.
No, that's perfect. And then Marvelous will go to you next, and this will be the order we follow throughout the evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marvelous. I'm also running for student commissioner. I'm in 11th grade, and I go to Baltimore Polytechnic Institute.
Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron. I'm a junior at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute, and I'm running for president of ASCBC.
Christiana, to you.
Hi everyone, my name is Christiana. I go to the Western High School and I'm an 11th grader running for vice president.
Hi everyone, my name is Saloni Gill and I go to the Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I'm a junior and I'm a candidate for vice president.
Hi, I'm Anthony Grande. I'm a 7th grader at Lakeland and I'm running for middle school executive.
Hello, good evening. My name is Laura Lopez Ochicale. I am a 6th grader at Commodore John Rogers Elementary Middle School, and I am also running for ASCBC's middle school executive position.
All right, Fatima, to you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Fatima Velasquez. I go to Digital Harbor. I'm currently in the 10th grade, and I'm running for treasurer.
Hello, everybody. My name is Shamir Berg, and I'm at Baltimore School for the Arts. I'm also in 10th grade currently, and I'm also running for treasurer.
Hello, everyone. My name is Leah Stearns. I go to Western High School. I'm in 11th grade, and I am running for secretary.
Thank you so much. And I see that our student moderator has joined us. Tatiana, can you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, I'm Tatiana. I'm a sophomore and I go to Green Street Academy.
Great. And Eleni, are you on yet?
Yes. Hi, I'm Eleni. I'm a junior and I go to Western High School.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Great. So Tatiana and Eleni are going to be taking us through this evening. And Eleni will be posing the questions to you. Tatiana, are you still able to turn on your camera to do time checks, or will you need to do those in the chat?
I'm at to do it in the chat.
Okay. So Tatiana will put a message to you in the chat when you are at your last 10 seconds so that you know to wrap up. But Eleni, go ahead and take it away. Explain the rules for how the town hall will go. And then when you're ready, please feel free to pose the first question to our candidates.
Okay, so we have preset questions that each of you are going to be asked. They're all listed on the screen right now, and they will also be on the screen with each of your poster information. So you'll be able to read it and follow along as you answer your questions in case you forget something I said. You will have 1 minute per question. So 3 minutes total for each candidate. And you will be given time checks through Tatiana, so please pay attention in the chat. And yeah, so I'll pose the questions, and then afterwards, everybody else will be able to ask you guys questions, and everybody will get a minute for each of those questions as well.
Mm-hmm. And we're going to go one question at a time. So you'll have, starting with, is Dylan here yet? Okay, we'll once Dylan joins, he'll get to pick up where we are. So we'll start with Isaiah. Isaiah, you'll just answer question 1 with your 1 minute, and then we'll go through all the candidates for question 1, and then we'll go back for question 2, and then question 3. And Eleni will be the one posing the question, and if you go over your 1 minute, Eleni will cut you off. Not any shade on you, but we'll need to keep it moving. All right, Eleni, go for it.
Okay, hi Isaiah. In your own words, what is the duty of the position that you are running for?
I think honestly the duties of my position is, besides the legislative duties, is attending all the general assemblies and being a voice and advocate for the students in the district level stuff. I think overall as a student commissioner, you're that type of person that's going to be the voice for the students of the city. So it's more than just the paperwork. It's actually being out there and involved in the community. So you be able to understand and evolve with the community. So honestly, I know that there's a general understanding as to the responsibilities, but I think it's a bit further than just the paperwork and the board part of the student commissioner. However, that is also included. So, yes.
Okay, great answer. Your second question is, how will your platform's goals? Oh,
we'll go to Marvelous, and then we'll come back for the second question.
my apologies. Okay, Marvelous. In your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
I think simply put, the duty of the student commissioner is to be the conduit for the students. It's such a large student body of Baltimore City Public High Schools, and I think that as the student commissioner, your sole duty is to be able to voice their concerns to the board and to be able to tell them what's going on next, along with the legislative duties and being, I think, just being the spokesperson of the student body in its entirety, even the people who can't speak for themselves, is the duty of the student commissioner.
Okay, great answer. Okay, Cameron, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
I think the most visible duties as president are to be, well, firstly, a trustworthy face of the organization and someone that can bear like the responsibilities of the workload as president, doing things like directing meetings and being an active member of all the committees with ASCBC and representing us on the state and regional level, and also staying consistent and reporting in on our activities. And beyond the duties described on paper, the president needs to be able to handle any new endeavors with the ASCBC pretty efficiently.
Okay, great. Christiana, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
Hi, I would say, in my own words, to be the vice president would mean to work together with the president and other members of the executive board to collaborate with each other effectively. Also, it would be to listen to all students' interests and represent their concerns. Also, with the executive board to, I would say, plan and organize events like general assemblies, oversee committees, and sometimes serve as the acting president in their absence. Also, advocating for students. I would say that's the role of the vice president.
Wonderful responses. Okay, Solani, how about you? In your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
Most evidently, to be vice president is to be the primary advisor to the president and fulfill their role when they are absent, as well as coordinating with the executive boards and adults to develop the evident, like obvious legislative initiatives, advocating for student representation, inclusivity, decision making. But more personally, I also believe in the power of conversation, and this includes not just sharing my own experience but listening earnestly to the stories of others. And I really want to use this position to leverage the platform ASCBC provides.
Okay, great. Anthony, how about you? In your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
To be middle school executive for me is to be able to represent middle school as a whole and to encourage like people to middle schoolers in specific to come to the ASCBC and participate and have a greater voice.
Okay, Laura, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
In my own words, I feel like my job is to help engage with middle school students in ASCBC events, but also have them participate in their school's SGA. And my other job is to make sure I'm representing the students of Baltimore City well and collaborate with the ASCBC Executive Board to try and make a change in Baltimore City.
Okay, great. Fatima, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
In my own words, I would say to be treasurer is to be responsible for the fundings of schools and to support schools' budgets and find ways to raise money.
Okay, Shamir, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
Through this past year of being treasurer, I've learned that we don't really have control exactly over all of the funds, as a lot of it comes pre-allocated. But I can be in control of keeping an eye on Board of School Commissioners' expenditures and reporting back to the ASCBC board when necessary, as well as spearheading any and all financial matters for the ASCBC board. And finally, being a full member of the executive board. It is also a position where I have to be responsible for every other matter that every other member of the board is responsible for. It doesn't exclude me from those responsibilities.
Okay, great. And Leah, in your own words, what is the duty of the position that you're running for?
Honestly, I would say the duties of the position that I'm running for is to assist the executive board. I have to help out with the president, I have to help out with the chief of staff, I have to make sure all the records are okay. But in overall, I want to be someone to assist all of ASCBC. So I feel like my duty as being secretary is to make sure everything's in line with ASCBC and to keep everything in order and everything structural.
Okay, great. We're going to move on to the second question now and come through in the same order, starting with Isaiah. Oh. Okay, we're starting with Dylan. Okay. How will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students? Okay, so I guess we'll move on to Isaiah.
Do you want me to start now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so my goals for being a student commissioner, I want to increase the amount of youth entrepreneurs in the city. I think that's something that can be done through Baltimore City Public Schools, as well as create fellowships and mentor programs within a bunch of schools, so that way students, excuse me, so that way students are guided not only through their teachers and their academics, but they're guided personally through their personal endeavors, as well as their career opportunities as well. So having those fellowship programs, leadership fellowship, that's a cohort from the student commissioner. So it'd be a committee where students can gain more board experience. That's not just within the student commissioner position. And those opportunities will affect the students of Baltimore City positively.
Okay, great. Marvelous. How will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
Simply put, my platform's goals are clarity, community, and equality. And I think that what I have felt as being a Baltimore City public high school student myself, and my peers have all told me, it's that decisions are being made and they're not being let know why. And I think we are old enough now to be able to understand the reasoning behind the decisions made by the student board. And that would be my main goal. Being able to tell people why is something the way it is. So complaints in general can just go down and we can all reach an understanding together. And then my second biggest thing is community. I feel, and a lot of people feel, there's divides, even with schools on the same campus. I go to Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. I feel like there's a divide with just my sister school, Western. So having clubs that can collaborate between inter-school is a big thing of my platform. And I think that would be able to change the future of us as Baltimore City students feeling as together as one versus different schools, and then being able to understand exactly where the adults in our lives are coming from, being able to stand with them. And that equality goes with the community, every single school being treated the same and given the same opportunities to better our futures.
Wonderful response. Cameron, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
Okay, so my priorities as president are to create a new committee for the purposes of dealing with environmental affairs with students, which is a work in progress, and also expanding ABC to include more student government organizations. And I think this is going to vastly change the future for city students because it's putting out more resources to expose students to potential career options, as well as giving them a larger platform for student leadership. And this is also an attempt on my part to start trying to drown out some of the negative and unhelpful views on city schools and its students by putting out some more positivity in its cycle. So,
Okay, great. Christiana, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students? Christiana?
Oh, did you guys hear me or no?
No.
No? Okay, sorry. I'll just retract. Okay. The goals of my platform will help to change the future for Baltimore City students by addressing key issues and challenges that city students face, whether it be having AP or IB courses available in different schools or more extracurricular activities and more college, I would say, preparation, seeing that there is a shortage in guidance counselors, especially in Western, where I go, and more attention to student mental health and having students know who their mental health counselors are.
All right, great. Swanee, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
So one thing I mentioned in my campaign video is that there's several systemic issues that we can solve, but we can take individual actions towards positive change. So I definitely, my goals are to listen to everyone's experience and derive how we can solve such problems, and also advocating for academic and extracurricular resources that may consist of athletic needs, mental health, college preparation, AP courses, and education needs. And also taking from my personal experience, I've had a great time participating in leadership development and financial literacy classes. I want to take my view and share that with a bigger audience and leave an impact and make that more accessible for others. So overall, advocating for also solutions to address student issues, financial literacy, character development workshop, and athletic needs. Additionally, enhancing cultural awareness and promoting minority representation, which is something I have lacked being a Baltimore City public student, and discussing methods to improve school safety, which is a very prevalent topic, and seeing how students
All right, Saloni, that's time. Thank you.
Okay, Anthony, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
So my goals right now are to bring more students, especially middle school students, to the ASCBC. This will generally help us as city students to be more connected and to be unified as a district.
Okay, great. Laura, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
So in my platform, I stated that I wanted to get Baltimore City the recognition we deserve, and I plan to do this by working with the ASCBC president. But I think this will change the future of Baltimore because it will prove that Baltimore City students have lots to bring to the table as well as other students in other counties. And my second goal was to make sure that everyone's voice was heard. And this will make a change in Baltimore because each student will feel like they are important and that they belong here in this city. And this way, students will know that they are a part of a community and are able to share their ideas with ASCBC, which is one of my other goals, to make sure students engage, well, middle school students engage in ASCBC activities.
Okay, awesome. Fatima, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
Okay. I believe my platform goals will help to change the future of Baltimore students because most of my goals are about students funding and equality for non-English speaking students and having them involved in ASCBC and what they think, like how we could like raise fundings.
Shamir, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
Yeah, so the main focus of my campaign is to increase student engagement in the budget, which is a great way for students to advocate for themselves on what they believe are the most important issues that each and every student is facing through one of the most powerful tools in the world, money.
Okay, and Leah, how will your platform's goals help to change the future for all Baltimore City students?
I would say my platform goals will help change the future of Baltimore City students by making sure everything's more put together. My main platforms are togetherness, organization, and punctuality. And I want to do that by creating like notes that everyone can like pass on for all at ASCBC. They'll be able to understand the stuff that they need to know about ASCBC and all of its affairs. And I can do this in a punctual manner, in an organized manner. And I feel like with this platform that I have, more people can be involved with ASCBC and they won't think about this organization as something that's something unattainable. When I joined ASCBC at first, I thought that how could anyone know anything about ASCBC? So with my platform, I feel like I can reach out to other students and make them gain information about this organization and what it does for the city.
Great responses. Okay, we're moving on to a third question. Again, same order, and just starting with the third question with Isaiah. How do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
Well, as previously mentioned, one of my goals is to start a cohort as a subcommittee from the student commissioner position. So students will gain district level experiences besides from being a student commissioner. And then another initiative that I want to start the engagement is by creating mentorships within different schools, leadership mentorships, and then surrounding different other like global issues. So that way students are getting that type of knowledge that they can use for like internships with the World Trade Center, which I was a fellow of, and they allow students from the ages of high school and up to join that cohort, and then you could tackle global issues. So I want to engage students one step at a time with the entry levels, with like the district opportunities, and learn about global issues, so that way that they can have that knowledge and experience in their future careers.
Okay, great. Marvelous said to come back to her, so we'll loop back around to her afterwards. Cameron, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
So I'm going to do this through communication, and I'm going to work very closely with our communications team, building a social media strategy that's compatible with students, and getting the word out to students that ASCBC is a tangible force in building student leadership. And even though it's not going to be perfected within the next year, it's going to set up the groundwork for success over time. And I've already said that I can't alone represent every student perfectly because we have such a diverse group in city schools. But it is up to us to empower the voices of those who can and have the passion to do so by giving them a platform through ASCBC. And also for representation, as the only Baltimore City student on the executive board for the Maryland Association of Student Councils, I feel as though that I have a big role to fill in representing Baltimore on the state level.
Okay, great. Christiana, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
I would say that I plan to try to get more students involved in ASCBC and Maryland Associated Student Congress by engaging them in different, I would say, activities around different schools, putting the word out more to students about like forums, board meetings, and other meetings that Baltimore City officials hold so that students can participate. I would also say partnerships and collaborations with different nonprofits. I know I've seen digital was just with Black Girls Vote, also putting the word out about our elections. I would also say that um, getting more students engaged with those different organizations to speak up more, like to get students confident about using their voice and to put more of their input in things that they care about, and communication with me and different students around Baltimore City to get them more involved.
Okay, great. Solani, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
Currently, the main channel for getting news and advocating for our voices is social media. So definitely working hand on hand with the communication team, as well as talking to administrators in certain schools to share information about ASCBC and any forms of student government to make sure that students, we can best support students and how ways that students can best support the community. Additionally, general assemblies are such a great way to raise the student voice. Personally, I was really inspired by guest speakers for the General Assembly I attended, and leveraging the past initiatives I've had where I was able to uplift student voices in Baltimore City initiatives.
Okay, and Anthony, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students? Anthony?
I think we may have lost Anthony. If he joins back on, I'll let everybody know. And I see Margulis, you said you need to go. Did you want an opportunity to answer this last question?
Yes, I am so sorry. I intend on raising student voices really just by letting them speak, by giving them a platform to be heard by me. I intend of leading forums, school by school, so they can just air out their grievances, and I would be able to bring it up to the board myself as student commissioner. Just being their conduit straight through, not mishearing any of their words, and saying exactly what they say to me to the board.
Okay, great. Laura, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
I plan to focus on General Assemblies and social media. I've noticed that ASCBC General Assemblies are the perfect chance to speak with other leaders from other schools. This way, I try to help students participate in advocacy activities. Like I said, General Assemblies are when all these schools come together to go into workshops and learn something new. So I think this is a really good chance to empower students. And also with the technology we have now, I can try and reach out to other students and work with them to make sure we make a good change in Baltimore. And also, if I get elected, with the power I have, I will make sure that other students have a platform, and like I said, make sure that they feel like they belong here.
Great response. Fatima, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
I intend on raising student voices by letting them voice their opinion and thoughts on how money should be spent on schools. And coming back to non-English speakers, I want them to also be able to express how they believe money should be spent because, oh no, that was it, sorry.
Mayor, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
Yeah, as I was saying in the last question, my main goal is to help increase student input on the budget. This past year, the district collaborated with ASCBC on an event to get some input. Unfortunately, it did come a little bit too late, and that input, while it was taken, I'm not sure how well it was implemented. Hopefully in the future, and what I'm planning to do this next year, is to help bring that back earlier and to make it a process that's intertwined with students throughout it and not just at one singular meeting, so that students can really advocate for themselves and what they believe in.
Okay, and Leah, how do you intend on raising student voices, encouraging leadership, and advocating for the interests of all Baltimore City students?
Because I was the General Assembly Planning Committee chair this year, I learned about how it's such a good way, like how General Assemblies are like the main source of how to get students involved. I learned that so many students get their ideas about ASCBC and take it back to their schools due to what they learned in the General Assembly, like this recent General Assembly that came up at the Spring General Assembly. That is the most easiest way to get more students involved, and by making general assemblies based around like issues and stuff like that, I get to listen to what students intend to do for ASCBC, and I can apply that to the e-board, bring that attention, and organize these ideas to send to the e-board, and make a streamlined connection between the delegates and representatives and the executive board itself.
Okay, great. So now I'm going to open the chat to anybody who would like to question other candidates or even answer some of their own questions. Anything you would like to answer, you can either unmute and state it or put it in the chat so everybody can see it.
And actually, what I would ask, let's put comments in the chat. Just reaction bumping. The Ellen will take a look at the question and make sure that it's appropriate. Any questions that aren't appropriate, obviously, we will be posing to the candidate, but go ahead and put your questions in the chat if you have them. And Elaine will go ahead and pick out of the chat questions that she would like to pose to the candidates. Elaine, at that point, if you want to have the person with the question pose it, feel free, but we'll make sure that it's appropriate first. If you have been watching on YouTube and you want to ask a question directly of the candidates, the QR code in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen is the way that you can join the meeting that we're on and share your questions directly. So if that's something that you want to do, please go ahead. And we'll take a couple minutes for folks to enter any questions that they have, join this call if they want to. And then if there are any questions from students who are joining, Eleni will pose other questions that the elections committee prepared for you guys. So Eleni, let's get just a couple minutes. Yes?
Are we able to do, like, give our questions?
Yeah,
I have, like, just a little wacky one.
If you guys have a question that you would like to post, feel free to type it in the chat, and Eleni will definitely pick from what's there. Alrighty, and if you are listening on YouTube, feel free to join us on Microsoft Teams. The QR code is in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You can scan that and join us on Teams and be able to pose your own questions. And again, if you have any questions you'd like to pose, Please go ahead and pop those in the chat.
Here's a very lighthearted question from Christiana. Let me make sure I read it properly. What Disney character would you like to be and why? Try to make sure your answers relate somewhat to ASCBC. Can I go first? Sure.
We'll
Sorry.
go in the, actually, let's go ahead and keep the order. We've been doing, Dylan's here, so I'll start with Isaiah.
Okay. All right, Isaiah, what Disney character would you like to be and why?
That's a good question. Can I think on that one? Can I come back to me? I'm not really sure actually. Yeah.
Okay, sure. Next up is Cameron.
Hard one, but I think Wally, just because he's just so persistent and he just never gives up. He's just a nice character.
Great choice. Okay, Christiana, how about you?
Oh, I love this question. Okay, so me personally, I would be Tiana because I feel like me and her, like we're like this. Like she works so hard, and I feel like I work hard too to get, especially like what I want. I like don't back down a lot. Also, I would say like she is like just like a great person, I would say. So yeah, I would be definitely Tiana from The Princess and the Frog. Yes.
Okay, very passionate answer. I see why you posed the question. Solani, how about you?
I'm debating between two. I'm debating between Olaf and Merida from Brave. Definitely characters that go on an adventure and possess traits that help them persevere through a situation. Really relates to me. Merida does archery and I do golf, so we all have like a goal. And Olaf is just so optimistic, happy, and loving, and I resonate with Olaf.
Great response. Laura, how about you?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever watched enough Disney in my life to know that many Disney characters, so I don't know. I'm sorry.
How about a cartoon or animated character in general?
I'm sorry, my mind just went blank right now. I can't think of any show or anything.
We can come back to you if you'd like.
Okay, please, thank you.
Okay, Fatima, how about you?
I would say Elsa because she's very independent and I really like being independent. Like being alone sometimes, like trying to get away from everybody, to be honest, that seems nice.
Understandable. Shamir, how about you?
You know what? I'm gonna have to go Rapunzel as an aside because I love the hair and I very much admire it, but mainly because she left behind everything she knew and went into a completely new place, a dangerous place, as she has been told, to explore and to live her life without living in fear and hiding in fear.
Great response. Leah, how about you?
I would definitely be Baymax. I think it's the caring nature that Baymax has and how persistent that he is and how he doesn't give up when it comes to taking care of people. And I feel like I have some traits when it comes to that. I'm very persistent on taking care of my friends when it comes to like in relationships that I have with my friends. And I feel like I would do anything to make sure that people around me are okay. So definitely Baymax.
Very heartfelt answers. Laura, do you have a response that you want to offer now?
Yes, I think I would be Mulan because I feel like she's one of the strongest female characters in the whole Disney shows. And I think she's just a really courageous person. It doesn't let anything stop her, any obstacles be in her way. So I think that's me.
Great choice. Okay, I'm going to offer about 2 more minutes for anybody else who wants to pose a question to pose a few more questions. While people are answering questions, you can also put questions in the chat so we keep everything moving smoothly, and that way I know if I should be posing election committee questions or not. And Isaiah, did you want a chance to answer that question too?
Yeah, so I was actually thinking about BMX too, but I was also thinking Tarzan, because like how he integrated into like those two different kind of communities and he faced those challenges. It just shows like the leadership and how quickly he can adapt to different scenarios and be flexible. So and that's kind of how I am. Like I'm able to adapt quickly to like different environments to fit the needs of what's needed or oppose new ideas. So yeah, Tarzan.
My apologies, Isaiah. I didn't mean to skip over you. Okay, we have a question from Cameron. Favorite leader in history. So, starting with Isaiah once again, who is your favorite leader in history and why?
Sorry, I had to switch to my phone. My favorite leader in history. Um, guys, I don't like going first. My favorite leader in history would have to be, um, I'd say myself. I mean, honestly, I would say myself because of the way that I conduct myself and the way I conduct myself through leadership. And leadership is like a really big like foundation within my life. So the way I interact with other people and the amount of care I give a lot of people is like really like keystones as to what a lot of leaders should exemplify and really should like showcase. So I would say myself, because I really exemplify those components.
Very unique answer. Cameron, how about you?
I was originally gonna say Hamilton because we're both secretaries, but I think I'm gonna say Fred Hampton. If anyone doesn't know who that is, he was one of like bigger leaders of the Black Panther Party. He was just very charismatic with the way that he led people, and it's something that I aspire to be like myself.
Okay, Christiana, how about you?
I really liked Isaiah's answer. I don't think I have a favorite leader in history, but if I would have to say, I would say Alexander Hamilton, just because of the play. And yeah, that's it. Just because of the play. I really like the songs.
Very biased answers. Okay, Solani, how about you?
So I have two. One is Malala. I read her book when I was in 5th grade, and she's the youngest Nobel Prize winner, and the way she fought for girls' education under the Taliban rule, and she also was a target for attempted assassination. Her story is just mind-blowing, and she's Pakistani and I'm South Asian, so it's that representation. And then Sweden, environmental activist Greta Thunberg, I think what she's advocating for is super important, and I admire her persistence.
Great response. We lost Anthony. So Laura, how about you?
I also have two people. The first one is Susan B. Anthony. I find it really cool that she was a women's rights activist, an equal rights activist, and an abolitionist. And also, I love how she helped pave the way for the 19th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, which gave women the right to vote. And also Martin Luther King. I know most people say this, but he's just too iconic. I know he really he was a really amazing person. I know he was an equal rights activist. So yeah, I just had to say him.
Okay, wonderful response. Fatima, how about
I don't know if this counts like history, but I would say Lauren Blum, because she created Adelante Latina, which is a program that helps like Hispanic or Latina women like get like scholarships or internships, and basically helps them in with their future in life. And I think that's amazing.
wonderful response? Shamir, how about you?
I'm gonna go with Theodore Roosevelt, but for one specific story. And that's when he was running during his campaign, he was giving a speech and was shot, and continued the speech and finished the speech before receiving medical attention. And I admire the tenacity to get hit and keep walking, and not shy away from what you believe in.
Great answer. And Leah, how about you?
I would say my favorite leader has to be Rosalind Franklin. And she was the woman who took a picture of photo 51. It's the first picture of a chromosome ever to exist. And the reason why she was like my favorite leader is because she pioneered the way into how DNA should be structured. She made that road. But the fact that she got credit taken away from her by two other men is saying a lot. But she also shows how dedicated she is. And even though she wasn't able to fully take the credit while she was alive, she still made history by, pioneering the way of how science is today.
Great responses from everybody. All right, does anybody have any other questions? I'm gonna offer another.
And that actually,
oh, go ahead.
Lenny, I think that's our time because we just have 2 minutes left. So thank you so much, and Tatiana's going to take over and close it out tonight. So thank you to our candidates. All right, Tatiana, take it away.
Appoint election dates. May 20th through the 23rd is election week, and the link below is where you vote at. May 28th is election results announced at city schools website, and I'm be announcing them. And also, election and leadership resources. You can scan the barcode and check ASCBC's election page for all things elections, vote guide, candidate videos, information about the election process, campaign protocols, and opportunities to get involved. Bye.
All right, so I just want to say thank you so much to all of the candidates who joined us tonight and to our moderators, Lenny and Tatiana. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Make sure you go out and vote May 20th to the 23rd.
Thank you all. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.